Hello and welcome to another exam paper walkthrough. Today again we're looking at this third space learning material, excellent source of revision. So these are written in the build up to the exams based on the prior exams, so looking for patterns and coming up with this practice set of papers. And this is the paper 3 higher version. If you want to look at any of their other resources, I'm just trying to find their website. I think it's on the footer of their page. It'll be in the link. I believe it's www.thirdspace.learning.com. But type third space learning into any search engine and they'll come up there. They produce some excellent revision materials and they do a fantastic tutoring program. Feel free to check them out. Okay, we will start off then with question 1. Okay, so we're looking at simplifying, so we're using our laws of indices. So when we multiply them, we add the powers, so that's going to become p to the power 7. Let's get my pen working. There we go. So that should be p to the power 7. And for question 2, we're looking at simplifying. So similar laws of indices for the second part. For the first part, 12 divided by 3 would give us 4, and then p to the power 7 divided by p to the power 2. We subtract the powers. So that q to the power 7 divided by q to the power 2 would be q to the power 5. Okay, question 2. The number n is rounded to one decimal place. The result is 8.7. Complete the error interval for n. So if a number's been rounded to 8.7 to one decimal place, it means that it's been rounded to 8.7 instead of 8.6 or 8.8. So the smallest number that would be rounded to 8. Let's just put a bit more of a gap there. The smallest number that would have been rounded to 8.7 as opposed to 8.6 is going to be slap bang in the middle, so 8.65. And then for the sake of this, we say slap bang in between these two numbers is going to be 8.75. And obviously n would be in the middle. Inequality symbols would go like that. And we've got the inequality symbols already in for us, and I've done mine the wrong way around. Great start to the paper. So we're looking at 8.65 is less than or equal to n, which is less than 8.75, because if it was actually 8.75, we would round it up. Okay, question 3. Here's some information about the number of siblings that 32 children in a class have. Work out the mean number of siblings. So for this, we're going to be doing 8 times by the number of siblings times by the frequency. We're going to be adding them all together. I've miswritten there. That was 2 times by 7 plus 3 times by 3 plus 4 times by 1. And I want to divide that by the total number of siblings, which should be 32. Double check in our frequency table, and that does add up to 32. So we'll jump to our calculator. And I'm going to type it in just like that. So I'm not going to bother writing that one in or the 1 times. So I'm going to say 13 times by 14 times by 9. Those should be adds, not pluses. I got a bit distracted multiplying them in my head and talking. Plus 4. And that's going to be divided by 32. So we're looking at 5 over 4. Which is going to be equal to 1.2. 5. So for part B, a child is picked at random. Stacey says the probability that the child has at least 2 siblings is 5 over 16. Is Stacey correct? Show how you decide. Well, she could be correct. 5 out of 16 is going to be equal to 10 out of 32. I've just converted it to 10 out of 32 just because I know there are 32 students in the class. So if we 5 over 16 is equal to 10 out of 32. If we look at number of siblings that are more than 2, we've got 2 at least, 7 plus 3 plus 1, so that's actually 11. So the probability of at least 2, so greater than, wrong way around, probability of greater than or equal to 2 is equal to 11 out of 32. So she is not correct. 11 out of 32 is not equal to 10 out of 32. So is she correct? No. Okay, question 4. Here is a regular hexagon. As soon as it's all hex, got 6 trapped in my mind. Work out the size of angle X. So I'm working out the size of angle X. Give reasons for each stage of your working. So I am going to say that is a 90-degree angle, and then that is the internal angle. So I'm going to do the internal angle, take away 90 degrees. So I'm going to do that by saying 360 divided by 6 is equal to 60 degrees. So that would be the external angle. Angle is 360 divided by the number of sides, or number of angles. So the interior angle is going to be equal to 180 minus 60, so it's going to be equal to 120. And the reason for that is interior angle plus exterior angle. I should really write the full words, but you get the idea. Exterior angle equal 180 degrees. And then finally, I'm going to say that x is going to be equal to the interior angle minus the minus 90 degrees. I should probably have said that. The reason for that, which I'll do in a second, so 30 degrees. So angle CBF is angle in rectangle CBF, and I'm missing a letter, CBFE. Okay, work out the size of angle Y. So Y, that would be parallel, so it's going to be an alternate angle, so it would also be equal to 30 degrees. Not asked for a reason for that, but that would be an alternate angle. Okay, question 5 then. Company is designing some new package. Given shape of cuboid. The package must have a height of 16, a length of 9, and a width of x, as shown below. The company wants the surface area to be less than 900 centimeters. Show that 50x plus 288 is less than 900. So I'm going to say the surface area of a cuboid is 2 times all of the dimensions multiplied together. So that would be 9x plus 16x. Plus 9 times 6, which is going to be 144. Double check. Yeah, 144. Can use your calculator to check any of that. And that's going to be less than 900. And then if I simplify that, that's going to be 2 lots of 25x plus 144. And that's going to be less than 900. So 50x plus 288 has to be less than 900. Okay, solve. Right, so I'm going to go back to this version just because I think it's easier to solve. 25x plus 144, and that's got to be less than 900. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and that's going to give me 25x plus 144 is going to be less than 450. If I minus 144 from both sides, that will give me 25x has to be less than 306, and then divide both sides by 25. X is going to be equal to, less than 12 and 6/25. So I'm sure that will be fine. Or that's going to be 12.6 times by 4.28, I think. 24. So x has to be less than 12.24. Okay, x must be an integer, so that means a whole number. Write down the greatest possible value of x. So the greatest possible value of x that is less than 12.24 is going to be 12. Okay, so work out x plus 2y. So that's 4 times by 10 to the 5 plus 2 lots. So if I multiply this by 2, in fact, I would only multiply the y by 12, the first number, so that would actually be 12 times by 10 to the 3. So if I convert that to be in the form to the power 5, that's going to be 4 times 10 to the power 5 plus 0.12 times 10 to the power 5, and then we can just add these numbers directly, so that would be 4.12 times 10 to the power 5. And question 7, write 48 meters squared in centimeters squared. Well, 1 meter squared is going to be equal to 100 centimeters times by 100 centimeters. So 1 meter squared is going to be equal to 10,000 centimeters squared. So 48 meters squared is going to be equal to 480,000 centimeters squared. Question 8. Here is the plan of Henry's garden. Henry wants to create a wildflower meadow. To do this, Henry is going to mix a wildflower seed mix with his grass mix in the ratio 2 to 5. Harry will then spread the seed mix on his garden. 1 kilogram of seed mix will cover 20 meters squared. Grass seed comes in 5 kilograms bags. Each costs £32 each. Wildflower seeds comes in bags of 1 kilogram bags, which cost £21 each. Work out the total the total cost of Henry's seed for the garden. So the first thing that I want to do is work out the area of the garden. So the area is going to be equal to 24 times by 10.5. So that's going to give me 24 plus 12. That's going to give me an area of 36 centimeters squared. No, it's not. 2. That's going to give me an area of, if I times that by 10, that would give me 240. If I times it by 0.5, it would give me 12. So it's going to be 240 plus 12, so that's going to be 252 meters cubed. And in effect, I want to split that in the ratio 2 to 5, or so I'm going to go 2 to 5, and that gives me a total of 7 parts. So I need to split 252 into 7 parts. So 252 divided by 7 is going to be 252 divided by 7 gives me 36. So each part is going to be worth 36. So that gives me, I want 72 kilograms of this one, and times by 5, and I want 108 kilograms of this one. So 1 kilogram of seed will cover 20 meters squared. So let's just go back to the fact that we've got seed. Now we're going to call them W and G for wild seed and grass. So his seed mix will cover 20 meters squared. So I need to divide that by 20. So he's going to need 3.6 bags of that, and he's going to need 180 divided by 5. It's going to be is it 16? No, 36. 180 divided by 5 is going to give me 36. So that's the number of bags of each I need, I'm assuming, I think. So my final step then is just to multiply those by the price. So we can't buy 3.6 bags of wild seed, so we're going to have to buy 4 bags. So I'm going to do 4 times by the cost of each wild seed is 21, and to that I need to add the price of 36 bags of I've made a slight mistake here looking at it. So I need to rewind a little bit further than I was hoping. Right, let's look at this again. So I'm happy with that's the area that we need to be able to cover for each. So we need to cover 72 meters squared with the seed mix, and then I've actually divided by the wrong one. So they come, wild seeds come in bags of 1 kilogram, so we will need 72 bags of that. Right, so I've got in my head confused. That is any seed mix, 1 kilogram of seed mix will cover 20 meters. So how much do we need? I was right. So divide by 20 on both sides. So if we do 72 divided by 20, we'd get 3.6. And if we do 180 divided by 20, we would get 9. So we need 9 kilograms worth. So that is weight. That's how much seed we need. So that wasn't 0.9, that was 0.6. So we need 3.6 kilograms of wild seed, and we need 9 kilograms. 9 kilograms of grass seed. We can't buy 3.6 kilograms of the wildflower seed because it comes in bags of 1 kilogram. So we are going to need 4 bags of that. And grass seed comes in 5 kilogram bags, so we can't get, so in effect we need 2 bags of that. And we can't get a multiple of 9. So I need 4 lots of 21 plus 2 lots of 32. So that's going to be 84 plus 64. So I think we're looking at 148 pounds for our total cost. So a total cost of 148 pounds. Okay, question 9. So the probability tree diagram shows the probability of Richard's bus will be late on the weekend. So we've got late, not late, and then Sunday, late, not late, late, not late. Complete the tree diagram. So the probabilities need to add up to 1, so that's going to be 0.68. And then we're looking at 0.6 here and 0.6 here. So calculate the probability that Richard's bus will be on time at least 1 day. So at least 1 day. So I'm going to do the probability that it is late on both days. So I'm going to do 1 minus 0.68 times by 0.6. So that's going to be 1 minus 0.6 times by 0.68. So that's going to give me 0.592. And I've done that completely, well, not completely wrong. So I think my idea was fine. Calculate the probability that bus will be on time at least one of the days. So I've done that it won't be late. So on time is the top branch. 0.32 times by 0.4. So that's going to be 1 minus 0.32 times by 0.4. So that's going to give me 0.872. So 0.872. Okay, question 10, expand and simplify. So we've got our triple brackets. So expanding our triple brackets, I will always tend to expand my first two brackets first of all. So 2x times by 2x would give me 6x, and then I'm going to, 6x squared. Then I'm going to have minus 10x plus 3x is going to be minus 7x, and then my number part is going to be 5 times by minus 5, which is going to give me minus 5. For my next step, I need to multiply that by the easier thing, so I'm going to put x plus 2. So I'm going to times everything by x and write it in on my first line, and then I'm going to times everything by 2 and write it on my second line, leaving a gap, kind of a bit like column addition using algebra. So we'll see how that looks. So that gives us 6x cubed minus 7x squared minus 5x, and then timesing everything by 2 would give me 6x squared times by 2 would give me 12x squared, and then times 2 by minus 5 . I'm just slightly confusing myself here. So apologies. Let's do that again. So 2 times by 6x squared would give us 12x squared. 2 times by minus 7x would give us minus 14x. And then 2 times by minus 5 would give us minus 10. Then we're going to add the two things together. And then because I've laid it out like this, it's quite easier to add. So that's going to give me 6x cubed plus 5x squared minus 19x minus 10. So we're looking at 6x cubed plus 5x squared minus 19x minus 10. Okay, question 11. Write 450 as a product of its prime factors. So I'm going to see how this goes. Nothing wrong with using a factor tree. So I'm going to say it's 2 times by 270, which is 2 times by 135. So that's just taken off two factors nice and easily. So then I'm going to say 135 is going to be equal to 5 times by 27, which is 3 times by 9, which is 3 times by 3. So overall, that's going to give me then 2 to the power of 2 times by 3 cubed times by 5. And part B, hence write down the smallest number that 250 could be multiplied to give a square number. So to give a square number, this part's already a square number, so I'd need to make this part a square number, so I'd times it by 3, and this is a square number, so I'd times it by 5. So I'm looking at 3 times by 5, which would be 15. Okay, question 12. An object exerts a force of 80 newtons on an area of 16 centimeters squared. Brian increases the area of the base of the object, which decreases the pressure caused by the force by 20%. By what percentage does Brian increase the area? So pressure is equal to force divided by area. So let's just think about this. So we want to increase the Okay, so if I'm trying to think about this correctly, trying to be a bit too clever really, which is dangerous. Brian increases the area of the base of the object, which decreases the pressure caused by 20%. So in effect, we want to reduce this side by 0.8. So if it's the area that we're... So in effect, let's just see whether this works, and I might give up this method in a second, is equal to the force divided by the area times by x. Okay, so in effect what we're saying then is 4/5 of the pressure, that's 0.8, is equal to the force divided by the area times by x. So the pressure is going to be equal to the force divided by the area times by 5/4. So we need the area. So we need the area to have been multiplied by 5/4. So the area needs to be multiplied by 1.25, which means that we've got a 25% increase in the area. Yeah, that would work absolutely fine. Let's just double check it, because I think the question intended you to do it with using the numbers. So let's just look at that. So I'll do this as a second method, which is always really useful. One of the great things about maths is you can do things a number of different ways. So that's going to be 4. So the pressure is going to be 4. If the pressure is going to be decreased by 20%, so 4 times by 0.8 is going to be equal to... Sorry, I've made a mistake there. That's 5. So that would be 5 times by 0.8, which would be 4. That's where I got the 4 from. So we want 4 to be equal to, we're keeping the same pressure, 80 divided by the area. So we want the area to be equal to 20 by rearranging. So the percentage change then is going to be the change from 20 to, yeah, there we go. Change from 20 to 16 is 4 divided by the original, which was 16 times by 100, which would give us 25. So that works fine. Right, question 13. Brill. 3-way Venn diagram. Venn diagram shows the number of Year 11s who study French, German, or Spanish. Write down, one student is chosen at random. Write down the probability that it is a student that studies French. So we need to... Ooh, it would have been handy if they had told us. So the probability is going to be equal to 53 plus 11 plus 3 plus 6 divided by the same. So let's work that out first of all. Divided by total. I'm going to put that for now. So 53 plus 9 plus 11 should have been pluses. So far that's 72. And I need to divide that by the total number of students, which is going to be 72, which is why I worked it out there rather than just write total. Plus 18 plus 8 plus 12 plus 39. So on my calculator I've still got 72, so 73, apologies. Plus 18 plus 8 plus 12 plus 39 That gives me a total of 312. It doesn't sound right. Let's try that again. Did I catch them all? 70, 18, 8, 39, 12. That should be right. Let's try it again. 33 plus 18 plus 8 plus 39 plus 12. So I've added them in slightly. There we go. That sounds better. So we're looking at 73 out of 150. Probability that they're in the union of G and S. So we're going to still stick with the fact that we've got 153. So it's going to be 153. Sorry, 150. And then the union of G and S. So the union of G and S is going to be 11 students. No, the union is all of them. So it's going to be G and S, so all of these numbers are added together. I'm going to do it in a slightly easier way, so I'm going to say it's going to be 150 minus the people that are not in the union, which is just going to be 53 plus 12, so that's going to be 65. So that's going to be 85 out of 150, which we can cancel down. So 85 out of 150, 17 out of 30. And then our last, oh no, not our last one. So this is an interesting one. So let's identify the region first of all. So we're after the intersection of we're after the intersection of F and not G and not S. So if we kind of think about this, so not G, so let's get rid of the bits that we don't want. So not G, and not S. So I make it, they've got to be in F, so let's get rid of the bit that we don't want. So that tells us it's going to be 53. So I make it 53 out of 150. And the final part, one of the students is chosen at random. The student studies German. Elliot says the probability that the student also studies Spanish is 11 out of 150. Elliot is not correct. Explain why. Because we already know that they study German. So we know they study German. So no longer look at a whole group. So in effect, it's going to be, we're picking from this group. So what's that going to be? 50, 61. So it would be 11 out of 61. Because they have to be coming from German now. Okay, question 13. At the start of the year T, the mass of a radioactive substance is Mt. At the start of the following year, the mass of the radioactive substance is Mt plus 1, where Mt plus 1 is equal to 0.8 Mt. At the start of 2021, the mass of the radioactive substance was 450 grams. Find the mass of the substance at the start of 2022. In 2021, actually, we're only going the next year, 2022. In 2021, it was 4,500. So at the 1 year in, it would be 450 times by 0.8. So it would just be 360. and I've missed a 0 out. I thought that was too small. So 3,600 grams. Okay, the half-life of a radioactive substance is the amount of time taken for the radioactive to halve. Nigel says the half-life of the substance is approximately 3 years. Is Nigel correct? Explain your answer. Well, if we just times in by 0.8 each time, 0.8 times by 0.8 times by 0.8 is going to be equal to 0.8 cubed. 0.8 cubed is going to be equal to 0.512, which is close to 0.5 or half. Is Nigel correct? I'm going to say yes. Yes, as 0.512 is close to 0.5. I'm sure that will be absolutely fine, but yeah, I definitely agree. So I kind of go for a rule of thumb that it needs to be within 10%, and that would be within 10%. So I would go yes. If